Okay, let's just dive right in. Did you know there's a storyteller living inside your skull? I mean, right now, as you're listening to me, it's working overtime, weaving the world around you into a story that makes sense. It never, ever stops. So, in this explainer, we're going to meet that narrator, and we're going to figure out why it might just be the most powerful force shaping your entire life.
I mean, really think about it for a second. That feeling when you get completely lost in a book, or, when you binge an entire season of a show in one weekend. We have this absolutely insatiable hunger for stories. So, is that just us escaping reality for a bit? Or is it a sign of something much, much deeper? A fundamental need that's literally hardwired into our brains?
Well, this number, it gives us a pretty big clue. During the 2020 lockdowns, a time of just massive global uncertainty, Netflix picked up nearly 16 million new subscribers. And that was in just 3 months. It tells you that when the real world's plot kind of goes off the rails, we don't just want stories. We desperately run towards them for structure, for meaning, for a world that makes sense again.
To really get why we have this deep need, we have to look back. I mean, way, way back. Because it turns out our love for stories isn't some modern hobby. It's actually an ancient survival mechanism. It's an incredible cognitive tool our brains evolved to, well, keep us alive.
And that right there is the key. Long before we had VR headsets, stories were the brain's original flight simulator for life. They let us run these incredibly complex simulations. We could face a predator, navigate a tricky social situation, solve a tough problem, all without ever leaving the safety of our own heads. It's literally how we get to practice living without paying the ultimate price for failure.
And this wasn't just something people did on their own. Nope. Studies of hunter-gatherer groups like the Kong show us that sitting around a fire telling stories was basically a form of technology. It's how they synced up their emotions, passed down critical survival lessons, and literally wove their tribe together into a single shared culture with a common purpose. Pretty amazing, right?
But how does this even work? How can simple sounds, or just little black marks on a page, create such vivid, immersive worlds inside our heads? Well, the secret lies in this incredible partnership between the storyteller and your own brain. The literary theorist Elaine Scarry absolutely nailed it. She calls them authorial prompts. A great writer doesn't just describe something. They act like a director for your imagination. They give your brain a really precise set of instructions to make a phantom image feel so real you could almost reach out and touch it.
Okay, so what's so cool here is that we can actually see those instructions in action. Your brain gets a command, build a scene. Then another, add this specific detail. Next up, animate it, make it move. And finally, change the scene by taking something away. See? Your mind isn't just passively watching a movie, it's actively building, revising, and experiencing this whole thing, word by word.
So this perfectly shows the power of our brain's narrative engine. But you know what? Processing fiction isn't even its main job. Its primary, non-stop, 24/7 function is to create the most important story you will ever know. The story of who you are.
Now, to see this inner narrator get caught in the act, we have to look at the classic split brain experiments. So in these patients, the two halves of their brain can't talk to each other. In this one setup, the patient's left brain, the part with language, is shown a chicken claw. At the same time, their right brain is shown a snowy scene.
Okay, so each hand is controlled by the opposite side of the brain. The right hand sees the chicken claw and correctly points to a picture of a chicken. But the left hand, which saw the snow scene, points to a shovel. Now here's the kicker. The speaking part of the brain, the left hemisphere, has no clue why the left hand pointed to a shovel. So what do you think it does when the researcher asks for an explanation?
It makes up a story. Just like that. Instantly and with total confidence. It creates a perfectly plausible narrative to connect the two things it knows, the chicken and the shovel, all to explain an action it didn't actually understand. This is called confabulation. The storyteller in our head just cannot stand a plot hole. It will fill it in automatically every single time.
The neuroscientist who ran these experiments, Michael Gazzaniga, he gave this storyteller a name, the interpreter. It's this system deep in your left hemisphere that's constantly taking all these different inputs, your actions, your feelings, what you see, and weaving them all into a single flowing story. And that story, that's what you experience as your identity. It's your autobiographical self.
So, let's bring this all home. From our evolutionary past where stories literally helped us survive, to the deep neuroscience of a brain that writes our reality into existence, one fact becomes crystal clear. We are, down to our very neurons, storytelling animals.
And this isn't just for entertainment. It's not something we can choose to do or not do. As the novelist Jim Crace puts it, it's a necessary function of being conscious. Our brains are built to turn the raw data of life into a story. It's how we make sense of the past, how we navigate the present, and how we imagine the future.
And if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Narrative isn't just some fancy decoration on top of our thinking. It is the operating system of the mind itself. You could call it our neural destiny. We need stories the way we need air, because it's through them that our brain practices empathy, builds our culture, and rehearses the next chapter of being human.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final fascinating question to chew on. If your entire sense of self is just a story, constantly being written and rewritten by this narrator in your skull, who exactly is holding the pen? Thanks for joining me for this one.